Hey guys, just wanted to reach out. I don't do very many videos. Well, for that matter, I never do any videos. But I've had something that's been poking at me for a while that I felt like that I should come on and just kind of talk about a little bit. A lot of it's got to do with what Biden is talking about doing as far as taxing anybody that's over a $400,000 income level. Um, it wouldn't work. $400,000 is a lot of money to me. It's probably a lot of money to you as well, but it's still middle class. I know it doesn't sound like middle class, but when you look at the scale of rich versus middle class versus poor, it really is still middle class. So when they're talking about taking somebody who's making $200,000 or $400,000 a year and taxing that at 45%, now they're basically down to $200,000 a year, which is still a decent income. But for all the effort they've done, the education that they've gone through, and all the kind of things that they've done to earn that kind of income, is just stripped away from them as an individual. So taxing the rich will never work, mainly due to the fact that the rich don't have an income. They don't have any kind of property. I know you see them driving down the road in their Mercedes and they're flying in their Learjets and going to their mansions and things like that. But in reality, it's not actually theirs. They put everything into a trust which is set up through lawyers to make it so that can't ever be touched as far as income or any of that kind of stuff through the IRS or whatnot. So there is no income there. They don't take a check. They don't take a personal income. They put everything into either a trust or a fund, or they buy real estate. But it's done through a trust so that they can basically evade that tax. It's all legal. I mean, that's basically how Trump made all of his money, is by investing all of his profits into more business, into more uh, more apartments, more hotels, motels, all that kind of stuff. So I mean, he still, I mean, he does obviously take an income, but he's not paying taxes like you would think he is. None of the rich are. Democrat, Republican, none of them. It's their dirty little secret. They don't, when they're all calling, when Democrats and whatnot are all calling to tax the rich, tax the corporations, they know the secret. The secret that most of us don't know is that it's not going to affect them. They pay no tax. It's all in a trust. So when you hear people say tax the rich, yeah, it's a great idea. I'm down for it if they actually paid the tax, but they don't. So the next thing is they say tax corporations. Anytime you tax a corporation, that's a direct tax on you, the individual, the person who's buying their product. So that's a tax on low income, a tax on middle class. It's also not a tax on the rich because they're buying it through a trust. The only real way to solve this is to get rid of the income tax. I know, sounds crazy, doesn't it? But for a long time, we've never had. For a long time before this, when this country was created, we didn't have an income tax. Income tax started, I believe, permanently in 1913, but before then we didn't have an income tax. When the war started, they temporarily put on an income tax, supposed to be temporary, but then they kept it. So when you hear people talking about tax the rich, tax corporations, all you're really saying is, hey, tax me some more, because you're going to be the one that ends up paying it anyway. There is a solution. It's not the best solution, but it's a pretty good one, and that is put a flat sales tax on everything except for maybe food, toiletries, things that you kind of have to survive. Anything you need to survive, don't tax that. But cell phones, computers, cars, houses, anything that you don't absolutely have to have, put a tax on it. Whether that be 7%, 8%, 9%, 10%, I don't know. But everybody would pay it. The trust would pay it. You would pay it. Low income would pay it. Illegals would pay it. So whenever they buy something, they would pay it as well. So it really, I mean, that kind of solves that problem too. Because then at that point, it wouldn't matter who came into the country, both on a social and economic level, because socially, we want to invite them in. Fiscally, we can't afford to let them in. But if we were to get rid of the income tax, that would put more money in your pocket that you would automatically have to spend. You would be able to buy more, provide for your family more. Now you would be getting taxed, but you would make the decision of whether or not you actually purchase something. You could reinvest it into something else and let it grow in stock market, or put it in some real estate or whatever, but that choice would be yours. It wouldn't be automatically taken from you from the government. So then you could make the decision of, do I want a brand new cell phone, or do I want to invest it and put it in somewhere? So that would basically fix the issue for the most part. The rich would be getting taxed, the middle class would be getting taxed, the low income would be getting taxed. So everybody would be getting taxed. It would be fair. It would be across the board. And I mean, obviously there's some things that would need to be worked out with all of it as far as details and everything, and that's way beyond me. But it seems like that would be the way to go. I don't know. What do you think? I'm just a guy who's 46 years old and works for a media company. What do I know?